Hi, everyone. I am honored to participate in today's conference. I've watched this event grow and showcase some of the most recognized women in the industry who continue to influence women's sport, true champions of equity. I'm here today to help announce the recipient of the Prix Jacqueline L Boutet Award. With this award, Tennis Canada honors a champion of the Canadian tennis community for their lifelong contributions to the advancement of women and girls in tennis. Someone who has had an impact, an immeasurable impact on creating a more equitable, inclusive, and accessible grassroots tennis system. This award is named in honor of the late Jacqueline L Boutet, who served as the chair of Tennis Canada's Board of Directors from 1995 to 1998, the first woman to hold this position in the history of Tennis Canada. Last year, we awarded this award to Carmelina Lee, over there, who was with us today. Carlotta helped build the Odlum Brown Vancouver Open into one of the most prestigious tennis challenger tournaments in the world. She played a vital role in helping many young Canadian players jumpstart their pro careers. And to tell us more about this year's recipient and why she is so well deserving of this award, I welcome Diane.
Thank you, Gavin. Throughout her decades-long career in tennis, Sharon Arnold has been a leader in the Ontario tennis community and has had a significant impact on the lives and development of thousands of young children. Sharon has served in numerous capacities on the Ontario Tennis Association Board of Directors for over 20 years throughout the 1960s to the 1980s. As the Education Committee Chair, she developed the first teaching manuals for the physical education teachers to promote tennis instruction in schools. As a founding member of Philpotts Children's Tennis in 1985, and the longest-serving board member, Sharon has been a champion for girls and women in tennis. In 2019, Sharon and her team launched the Philpott Girls Program to address the lack of women coaches in their organization. As a result, women coaches now represent 50% of their coaching staff. This achievement was made through community engagement and the recruitment of training of young women, many of whom were new to the sport of tennis. Due to its success, they have expanded this program to other undeserved neighborhoods across the GTA. Sharon has contributed to creating a culture change within the sport and the organizations she leads. Her vision, leadership, and confidence continues to change the way we think about community engagement and creating opportunities for growth and development. It is my pleasure to introduce Sharon Arnold as this year's recipient of the Jacqueline L Boutet Community Award.
Thanks, Diane, for nominating me. This is an amazing award, and I'm very honored to receive it. Thank you very much.
Congratulations, Sharon. Can I get you, Diane, and Gavin to step up so we get a beautiful photo opportunity? Sharon, you deserve all the flowers you can get today. Big smile over here right at the front. Ladies and gentlemen, your winner of the Boutet Community Award. Sharon, congratulations once again. Gavin and Diane, thank you very much.
Wasn't that fun? Speaking of fun, wow, Anne, a sports bra. That's a bold fashion statement.
Well, it is the look of today, and I may have a 22-year-old that dresses me and keeps me relevant, but it's a reminder of how far women's health has come. And I would like to show you what I mean by that. If everyone could please use the QR code on the screen to answer a survey question. And the question is, you should see it, which of the following is true about the first sports bra for women? Was it neon pink in color, made from 2 jock straps being sewn together, sized for a man's chest, or created with leather?
The answer is here in the bag. But first, let's see what the audience selection is.
Oh, we got some good answers up there. Can't wait to find out what's in that bag, Kathleen.
Well, let me show you. If you guessed that the answer was that it was 2 jock straps sewn together, you were right.
That is lovely, Kathleen. I'm not going to be able to unsee that. So glad I didn't have to wear that one up here.
Well, this is how they were made. But fortunately, we're coming a long way. Manufacturers are learning that they can no longer pink it and shrink it. Sports bras today are made from performance fabrics, and they fit women athletes. If you can all please look in your bag, there will be a luggage tag that has instructions so you can get the perfect fit as well.
Well, this is obviously one of the countless examples of gender inequity in sport. Kathleen, get rid of that. Let's get that off the stage. And let's sit down, because we've got a lot to talk about. Okay, well, let's talk about the topic of advancements and change makers. For 3 years now, the WTA and our title sponsor, Hologic, which is a global women's health innovator, and here today, shout out to Hologic, has been driving change. And we believe that everyone here can also be a change maker for women's health. So stay tuned for a call to action at the end of this presentation. And now I want to talk about some change makers, and I'm going to have to embarrass Kathleen here for a minute. Sorry, not sorry. But you joined the WTA 35 years ago, and Kathleen actually hired me 25 years ago. So I have seen you lead so much groundbreaking progress for our sport in the areas of health and performance. You're in it for the long game. We were talking about long game, you're in it for the long game. And being a trailblazer is not easy. It is hard, and there's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that go into that. And I've seen you do it. You have been an incredible inspiration for so many women. Can you talk to us about that journey, share a few examples of those advancements?
Well, first, Ann, I'd like to say that one of the best decision that I'm proud of is hiring you, because I've seen you also just continue to grow our sport and really champion gender equity. But sure, I'd be proud to say that we've come a long way in elevating the well-being for our WTA players and the legends. I'd like to share a couple examples of the strides that we've made. In the past, there have been inaccurate perceptions of women's physical abilities, such as with exertion, their uteruses would drop. Yep. That's crazy, isn't it?
Crazy.
But today, WTA professionals like Bianca Andreescu compete on the same global stage as men and are role models worldwide. Another example, in the beginning of the tour, we didn't offer mental health services. In the past 20 years, this area has evolved, and we are providing mental health services, and we continue to grow this program. And my last example that I want to share is about maternal health. For years, players took maternity leave with no tennis ranking protection. And today we have a special ranking rule where players can take maternity leave with a ranking protection. And we also have other resources for not just the players, but also their families.
That's incredible. I mean, as a mother, I can connect with this. Whether you make a living on or off the court, to understand that classic struggle of women having to choose between family and career, it's so important, more and more. We don't have to sacrifice one for the other, and that's remarkable, and that's real change for gender equity.
It certainly is. Yes, it's a genuine improvement. And as we look at the WTA's 50 years of efforts to increase gender equity for women, we want to thank the people and the organizations that have teamed up with us along the way, including Hologic. They're an ideal partner for us because of their leadership in women's health. I'd also like to share some of the things that we're doing with them to elevate gender equity. First, with the support of Hologic, we've created the Hologic WTA Women's Health Task Force. This is comprised of medical and performance experts from around the world, and tennis players and legends serving as our outreach ambassadors. Our focus is to reduce the gender gap in healthcare. We're doing this through education and awareness, increased healthcare access, advancing research, and advocacy, which will improve healthcare policies.
Amazing. That is an incredible group of women.
It sure is, and we're doing a lot. Together with Hologic, we've been able to offer WTA physicals to the players on an annual basis. We've added specialty areas such as women health topics, and we're even offering the Hologic DEXA scan technology. This system is really important for our players. It provides them with information about their musculoskeletal health.
That's amazing. Amazing work by the WTA and Hologic. You know, Hologic is so dedicated to women's health that they've even developed a global women's health index. And I want to ask you all a question that index answers. So let's go to our second poll. If you're still on the poll screen, great. Otherwise, scan the QR code again, and we will get there in a second. All right, here's the question. If you're on it, looking at women globally, hunger and undernourishment is a leading risk factor for negative health outcomes. It's responsible for 9 million, yes, 9 million deaths per year, and that's more than malaria, tuberculosis, and AIDS combined. That's staggering. According to the Hologic Global Women's Health Index, how many women worldwide said that in the last year they couldn't afford food or shelter for themselves and their families? Is the answer nearly 200 million, nearly 500 million, 750 million, or 1 billion?
Unfortunately, the answer is nearly 1 billion. Yes, you heard right. 1 billion women. And is the WTA doing anything to address this?
Well, first of all, every time I hear that statistic, and I've heard it a lot, it's jarring to me. It's staggering. And yes, we certainly are addressing that. In collaboration with the Gates Foundation and Hologic, the WTA Foundation has launched a global women's health fund. Our first goal this year is to provide 1 million women that are expectant mothers in prenatal vitamins in low-income countries. And that campaign is called Women Change the Game. Well, we ask all of you to join us in this effort. It is amazing. We've also partnered with UNICEF on this, and they are our product deliverer and the product that we take to these third world countries, and it's $2.50 to provide one mother prenatal vitamins for an entire year. It's remarkable. So this is where strength in numbers. So please go to womenchangethegame.com for more information. Another initiative the WTA Foundation is doing with Hologic around women's health is to fight against breast cancer for women. That means breast cancer, cervical cancer, ovarian cancer, and more. What we do is through the WTA Acing Cancer Program. For each ACE that is served, Hologic makes a donation to our program. So encourage those serves this week, and if there are any players in here, keep those service going. The ACEs going, sorry. ACEs going. So anyway, through this program, Acing Cancer funds cancer research for women's cancers and makes grants to nonprofit organizations that help women who are dealing with cancer.
And that's a lot to be proud of. Okay, before we wrap up, here's another example of a WTA Hologic program. We're participating in community outreach efforts to promote women's health and well-being at tournaments around the world, including in Miami, Florida, Eastbourne, England, Abu Dhabi, Montreal, Canada, and today, Toronto. Which brings us back to the power of one, the power of many.
Individually and together, we have the ability and the power to make a positive difference. So here's your call to action.
We'd like you to talk to at least one woman in your life about the importance of making their health a priority and encourage them to get a comprehensive checkup.
And take action for a great cause or an initiative that's dedicated to elevating women's health and well-being, like the WTA Foundation. I happen to know it's a good one.
It sure is. Good luck and take care of yourselves.
And thank you for helping us elevate women's health.
Up next is another exciting panel where we get to hear from professional athletes that we're all big fans of. So I'm going to introduce the panelists on stage first and tell you a little bit about each one of them afterwards. So with a big round of applause, please help me welcome our professional athlete panel. Come on down. Thank you for being with us. We're really excited to hear from you guys. Among, I think, all five, we've got about 30 medals and counting. Unbelievable. 30 medals and counting. First, say hello to Natalie Spooner. Little wave, Natalie. Natalie's a Canadian Olympic gold medalist. After 3 straight medal-winning appearances, she became a mom and competed at the World Championships in under 6 months. Come on. Wow. In the PWHL's inaugural year, Natalie led Toronto to the playoffs with the titles of League MVP and top forward, and was the first Canadian to be named IIHF Female Player of the Year. Give it up for Natalie Spooner. Please say hello to Laura Stacey. Hi, Laura. Laura, inspired by Team Canada's gold medal in the 2002 Winter Olympics, Laura's own Olympic dreams were realized when she competed in the 2018 Winter Olympics, earning a silver medal and a gold medal in 2022. Recently, Laura became the alternate captain for Montreal's PWHL team. Welcome, Laura Stacey. Give it up for Marie-Philip Poulin. Throughout her 4 Olympic Games, where she's won 3 gold medals, Marie-Philip has proven that she ranks with the top athletes. Marie-Philip has won 6 silver, 1 bronze, and 2 gold medals at the IIHF Ice Hockey Women's World Championship. She's the PWHL Montreal team captain, and in 2020, now this says 2026, but we know that's not true. That's a little bit of a typo. She's going to, well, actually, no. You're going to take your 5th career Olympic Games, 2026 in Milan Cortina. Can you tell I had difficulty in math? Say hi once again to Marie-Philip. Former professional soccer turned coach, Carmelina Moscato. Carmelina has 94 caps for Canada, 3 FIFA Women's World Cups, and an Olympic bronze medal. Since hanging up her cleats in 2016, she's held head coach roles, given her voice, influence, and platform to better the women's game, and has been inducted into the Canada Soccer Hall of Fame. Hall of Famer Carmelina Moscato. A round of applause and say welcome to Claire Buchanan. Claire is a high-performance athlete who's competed for their country in wheelchair basketball and currently para-ice hockey after winning 2 national championships with the University of Alabama. Claire competed with the Canadian Women's Wheelchair Basketball Program until their retirement from the sport in 2018. In 2014, they were named Rookie of the Year with the Canadian Women's Para Hockey Team, where they have earned back-to-back silver medals. Say hi once again to Claire Buchanan. And to lead this impressive group in conversation, let's welcome Jayna Hefford. Jayna, come on up. Jayna is one of the most decorated Canadian Olympians of all time. She's won multiple medals and competed in 12 IIHF World Women's Championships, including 7 gold medals. 7! That's incredible, 7 gold medals. Jayna has won titles in the National Women's Hockey League and Canadian Women's Hockey League, and an inductee in the Hockey Hall of Fame. We got some Hall of Famers up here. Jayna is now the SVP of Hockey Operations for the PWHL and has been instrumental in the league's historic formation, and no doubt will continue to be a driving force in its success. Please give another round of applause to our panelists. Jayna, take it away.
Thank you, Hazel. It's a great honor to be here amongst these incredible athletes and good friends, and we're excited to have a conversation today that hopefully will be very genuine and authentic. I want to thank Eva and her team for this incredible event. It's always so great. Yeah, we can cheer for Eva. It's always so great to be in this room with so many inspiring people, and as Eva mentioned, I was here for the first event when Billie Jean King was here as our speaker and announced for the first time that there would be a new professional women's hockey league. It wasn't real yet, but in adding to Billie Jean King's legacy, she was absolutely true. And now, 2 years later, it's pretty cool to be up here after completing our first year of the PWHL this season. So the journey to the PWHL really began in 2019 with the formation of the Professional Women's Hockey Players Association, which was led by the players. The mission of that and the purpose was really to create a united voice to advocate for a new professional women's hockey league. And that group was guided and advised by Billie Jean King and Alana Kloss. We've now completed our inaugural PWHL season. We've exceeded all of our expectations as it relates to attendance, to sponsorship, to viewership, to merchandise sales. But we all realize there's still a lot of work to do. So I'm going to throw the first question to Laura and just ask you to speak about the excitement and the success of that first season.
Yeah, honestly, it's pretty hard to put it into words. I think when you've sat out for 4 years, when you've waited for this moment for almost an entire lifetime, it's kind of hard to encapsulate that into words of how it felt and how it's going to continue to feel. But to be honest, I think my word would be magical. As a young girl growing up in just outside of Toronto, none of us, at least I can only speak for myself, dreamed about playing professionally because we never saw it. I only cheered for the Toronto Maple Leafs because that's all I saw, that's all I knew, other than making the Olympic team and playing for Canada, because we were fortunate enough to see that on TV every 4 years. So it wasn't necessarily a dream of ours because we didn't know it was a possibility. And so now to be sitting on this couch 1 year after the inaugural season of the PWHL, I think it truly is magic. The way it turned out, the packed arenas, the records we broke, It's honestly magic in the sense of we never ever thought it was possible. We believed in ourselves, we believed in our product. We knew sitting out for 4 years would be worth it, but this far exceeded any of our expectations, any of our dreams. And it's a pretty amazing feeling to be sitting here sharing that with you, but also looking forward to year 2 and how it can keep growing, keep getting better, and keep pushing women's sports and women's hockey forward.
And you mentioned the 4.5 years of the PWHPA, and I think we all realized there was a lot of challenges, a lot of sacrifices made by the players. So Natalie, I want you to maybe speak to that and that experience.
Yeah, so I think obviously it was a lot longer of a process than we had expected. I came into the CWHL in 2012, so I played quite a few years for the Toronto Furies. And in 2019, when the league folded, we were shocked, I think was the first emotion we felt. But then we knew this was a real big turning point for women's sports and for women's hockey, that we could make something of it. And we came together, the Canadians, the Americans, which doesn't happen very often, and we decided we could bound together and fight for something that we deserved, and that was a professional league. That was for every little girl out there to have a dream, to play professional hockey, to have a career in hockey, to make it a livable wage. And it was much longer than we thought. We created the PWHPA. We went on the Secret Dream Gap Tour all over North America. We played games. It was not a regular season. They were very sporadic games all over the place. We weren't paid at first to go play these games. So it definitely was a lot of commitment, but we were so lucky. We had Billie Jean King spearheading us, keeping us together. We would hop on calls, and as soon as you would hear her voice, saying, "You guys are stronger together, keep fighting, keep your voices united," she really kept us going and kept us bound together. And I think, it's bigger and better than any of us thought, just like Laura said, and getting to play for us, for those little girls now, I think there's nothing better than that.
And again, you're leading into the next question for Marie-Philip. From now on, I'm going to call you Pooh, because I can't call you Marie-Philip. But can you speak to what the league means for the next generation of young girls and boys?
Yeah, what it means, where to start. I think every time we have the chance right now to talk about our new league, about the PWHL, you can see in her eyes just that spark to talk about how exciting it is. And when I think about what we can say to the little girls now, it's we can allow them to dream to be part of this league, to be a professional and do that as a job. And that's for us. We never had that opportunity to dream of that, but now we can tell them. 5, 6, 7 years old, they're on the ice. We have hockey camp with them. We see them after our game. We connect with them, and now we can say, "You can be here one day. You can be in our shoes, you can be in our skate, you can wear one of the PWHL jerseys." And to us, it's amazing. And obviously, we're the lucky one that get to put that jersey and be in the first season of the PWHL. We do it for the next generation, but sometimes we forget about the older generation that paved the way for all of us. And that's something that I'll forever be thankful, and I think Jayna is one of them that paved the way for all of us. We saw them at the 2002 Olympics, where they sparked our dream. They really allowed us to dream to be part of the national team. And yes, the 3 of us are lucky enough to be part of the national team, but now there's more than that. It's being a professional hockey player. You're being part of the PWHL. So obviously, the young generation, we allow them to dream, but just acknowledge the old, not that I'm saying you're old, Jayna, but just the older generation that was been here before us. It's tremendous, and all of this is all of us together growing that sport, growing women's sport, and it's tremendous to be part of this. And again, thankful to be part of this stage alongside amazing women and being able to share our passion for the sport.
And I want to shift a little bit to media coverage in women's sports. And there's always this constant conversation around how women's sports are covered. And oftentimes we have champions of women's sports, the same people that continue to tell the story and drive the narrative. Or we're talking about the lack of coverage and how women's sports is covered. So I want to start with you, Claire, on how the media coverage has progressed over the last number of years in covering Paralympic sport.
Yeah, it's definitely progressed quite a bit. You see each Paralympic Games having more and more coverage, but that's just it. You only see it at the Paralympics. Outside of that, every 2 years, you don't really get exposed to any parasports, especially at the high performance level. So we come into contact with a lot of people not even realizing that we exist at a high performance level. So it has come a long way at the Paralympic level, but on the other side of that, it'd be great to see it outside of the Paralympics as well.
Yeah, we always talk a lot about visibility and the importance of that. So Carm, for you, can you speak to the media coverage that you've experienced in your career as both a player and now as a professional coach?
Yeah, definitely. I put a lot of thought into this question because I think I could start by saying, woe was us and we didn't get a lot of coverage and all the rest of it. I think I'm going to start on the opposite end as a professional coach, now in Mexico, most recently as a head coach. Was in a city called Monterrey, which is a very much a passionate football city. And what I experienced there was unbelievable. I'm going to start with the positive. I'm going to say that there was a community and a family of people, 46,000 at our best games, supporting us in that Mexican culture with tons of passion. With results, with high-performance football comes, the good, the bad, and the massively ugly. So I did get off Twitter for a while there, but all to say, there's, it's how we manage it. It was a celebration of people caring about those women on the pitch, and I'll never forget it. You feel as a coach, you get the players getting the attention. They're the stars. They're the ones that are putting the pucks and balls in the back of the net and defending it with all their lives. But I would go to the grocery store and people would be like, Moscato, photo. I said, me? What? Me? I thought you wanted to kill me. But all to say, there's a group of, there was a group of fans called the Incomparables, and they were the incomparables. They were the ones that are running almost the show in Mexico. And I'm so grateful to have experienced that because I know what's possible now. We want that in Canada. We want to see that to continue to grow in North America in the biggest ways. And I think it takes step by step to get there in every league and everything like that. But, that comes with pressure. That comes with a lot of things that I think we should all embrace as high performers. And I think we're headed there. So.
And support for women's sports in Canada has increased over recent years through national sport organizations, through endorsements, through professional leagues. So I want to ask, if you had one ask of your national federation in terms of championing equity, what would that be? And we want to start with Claire and you with para hockey.
Yeah, we can invest in our women's sports right now, but we have to invest in the future of those women as well, in the next generations. Like Pooh alluded to, is that we can fix the stuff now, but we have to really think about how we're laying the foundation and creating those equitable success situations for the next generation of athletes.
And Laura?
Yeah, I think I would just add, obviously being a part of Hockey Canada, we've had the opportunity to play in some huge buildings, amazing crowds all across Canada, all across the world. And that's been amazing to see, but I think some of those younger generations, whether it is the U18 team, and even pulling it all the way back to the grassroots level, that's where we can make the biggest amounts of change in terms of growing women's hockey, women's sports. A lot of you probably don't even know our under-18 team exists. Just like the World Juniors happen every single year, so does our under-18 team play. So growing that 100% will have a direct impact on that next generation of females playing and staying in the game. And I think that's even more so valid for the grassroots comment. Obviously, kids start sports. Kids are put in sport when they're kids. But the stats that we heard earlier of the kids dropping out is extremely significant, and the same holds true in hockey as well for young females. So how can we keep them in sport longer? How can we make them enjoy the game, love the game, and kind of fill that people situation that we heard a lot about earlier and love their experience when they start playing hockey at such a young age. So my ask, I guess, to the Federation would be, how can we continue to improve the experiences for those young girls? All three of us sitting up here, when we first started playing, directly went into boys hockey. It just didn't exist, young girls hockey at the time where we lived, so we had to play boys hockey. Obviously, the same isn't true to this day, but the amount of young boys hockey teams and leagues, whether it's A, AAA, AA, that still holds true, whereas young girls don't necessarily have that. So if you get cut as a young girl, maybe that's it for you. And I don't think that should necessarily be the case. So the more we can keep amplifying, keep growing that young grassroots level of hockey, the more young girls are going to stay in it, but also the more young girls are going to love it, and are going to want to be a part of it, and hopefully still stay a part of it so that they can dream to one day sit on this couch, be professional women's hockey players in the PWHL, and chase the dream of playing at the Olympics.
That's it. And Carm, for soccer, what would your ask be?
What would my ask be? This is a question sort of near and dear to me. I've been, heart and soul Canada soccer, and grew up, since again 4 years old doing this. And my call to the Federation is to be braver, to be unapologetic about setting standards in this country. I think we have every platform to do so. I'm going to take a moment to congratulate the players in this past Olympic Games who have been, just a round of applause for that group of women who were incredible. And I think I know there is an absolute golden generation coming right behind them as well. And I think they need all the support you can have. And, when I think of this question, I spent a lot of time with Eva, working for Eva's team back at Canadian Soccer Business. And, I could spit details and facts at you guys. I don't think that's very inspiring. What I think is it takes a little bit of a different way of thinking. We need to think differently about sport in this country, make braver decisions, look around and start to see we're not actually only asking for equity, we're asking for equality. We're asking for the same, actually, in this case. And I think that it is absolutely within our reach to do so. We have a very unique moment in time in this Federation's journey right now to make the future different, to make it better. I see everything that you might be seeing in the media. I'm going to hit it head on. I'm going to say that it just is an opportunity in my eyes to start differently and to start putting the pieces back together in a different fashion.
Well said. So one of the things that is so inspiring about women's sport is the stories of the athletes. And we still have a long way to go to share more of those stories. But female athletes always seem to have the ability to be a lot of things. So typically, they're well-educated, they have to be their own entrepreneurs, they're responsible for their own brand, and in some cases, they're also mothers. So what's really cool about sport is that it resonates so deeply to, I think, professional careers of women everywhere. So I think the first question I want to ask is to Natalie. Can you speak about your journey as being a mom, while also training and being a member of the national team? And I think anybody who followed this season of the PWHL would agree that Natalie had her best season ever after becoming a mom. So if you could speak to that journey, that would be awesome.
Yeah, thank you. So I guess we'll go back to after the 2022 Olympics. My husband and I decided it was time for us to start a family. And I remember I announced I was pregnant. I was so excited. And there's almost this narrative then, oh, you're going to retire. You're done playing. You're not going to be the same player when you come back. And I think for me, at first, I was starting to believe this. And I said, oh, my goodness, like, am I done? Is this it? Like, am I just going to have a baby and be at home? Like, what am I going to do? But I was lucky that I was surrounded by a lot of positive people that believed in me. And also, there's not that many athletes that have come back after having babies, but there was enough that I could lean on. I remember watching Serena Williams, her documentary, and seeing her come back. And I was like, okay, I've got this. So I set a pretty lofty goal to come back for World Championships, which was 5 months postpartum. It was pretty much to the day, would be the opening game of the World Championships. It was definitely a journey to get there. I don't know if I would do it again, but I did it. I set my mind to it and I did it. And it was amazing. I mean, just getting to be on the ice again with my teammates, I think that was the best part for me, feeling like myself again, back to what I was passionate about. And then from there, I took some time off to then finally recover. Last summer, I took a bunch of time off. I wasn't able to go on the ice, but then we had the Pro League coming up and just getting to play hockey again. I think I was just so grateful to be out there with my teammates, but also kind of prove to all those people that thought, you know, she's not going to be able to make it back. She won't be the same player. She won't be as fast. She won't have the speed to be able to do that and to do it on such a level that, you know, the PWHL, our first professional season, I was just so grateful to have that platform to be able to do it on. And then, yeah, I think hopefully it was able to inspire more women that they can have children and still return to sport. It's not, your end-all, be-all. You don't have to give it up. You can do both. Obviously with a lot of support. I had a lot of people around me to support me with my son, and whether it was bringing him to the rink, bringing him to the gym, whatever it was, I had a lot of support, but I wouldn't change it for the world, and the experiences that he's got to have, being around such positive female role models. I always say I think he realizes now that women play hockey and he doesn't realize that men does, because he watches the TV and he's like, Mama's there. And I was like, it's not Mama all that time. But so I think it's pretty amazing the world that he's going to grow up in, and that he's going to see that, women play professional hockey, and that he can watch that all the way growing up. And who knows if he'll want to play hockey or not, but I think that we've kind of set that standard that there's pretty powerful women out there.
And there's a lot of things that are unique about the PWHL, and one of them is that we had a collective bargaining agreement in advance of launching the league. Another part of that is that we had female players at the table negotiating the CBA, and because of that, there is additional support in place upon league launch for players who do become mothers, which is pretty amazing. There is a line in the CBA that says that we must provide a nursing room in every one of our markets, and it actually says that it cannot be a bathroom. So for the women, I think you would all appreciate that. And the other little tidbit that I think is really important is this was not written in the CBA, but I believe it was in November or December, and we were speaking on a few issues, and Stan Kasten, one of our advisory board members, said, well, we should just pay for somebody's nanny if they have a child under 1. Why wouldn't we just pay for their nanny to go and hop on the plane and stay with them? It's the right thing to do. And from that point on, that became something that we as a league did for the players who had children under the age of 1. So I think it's really powerful to have women at the table when we're negotiating the deals that pertain to women. And so I want to go over to Claire, and maybe you can speak to your journey as a mom while trying to still perform at the highest level and try to balance it all.
Yeah, I was on my way back from the United States and playing wheelchair basketball, and I was playing para hockey at the same time, and I had to really make a decision of where my priorities laid and really reconstruct how I was going to move forward with having a child in my life now. And it takes an entire community, and I am lucky enough that I was introduced to coming back from the United States, had no idea that there was a women's national team until a few months later, and got right into a sled, and it's the community around me that has allowed me to thrive in those spaces. It's the coaches, it's the staff, it's the teammates, it's your families and friends that give me the ability to train at a high level and really prioritize that in my life. And like Natalie said, having your kid look up at you and seeing you do all these amazing things, and it really instills in them that they can do those things, but to see that being taken up by a woman in that space is really powerful, having a son specifically.
And Pooh, I want to go to you. You're one of our country's greatest athletes, and with that comes incredible demands. So I want to just talk about, like, how do you do it all? How do you make sure you take care of yourself, build your brand, and help grow the sport while still trying to be the best athlete every time you hit the ice?
I think just enjoying it. To me, every time I have the chance to get on that ice, to train, it's just looking around. And just when you're surrounded by the right people, it's quite easy to do your job. Obviously, I've been pretty fortunate in my career to get the highest level, but I'm not alone. There's people to my right, to my left, that have been around me to push me to be a better player, but also a better person. And that's something that throughout my career I've really learned. I remember watching the 2002 Olympics, and obviously you watch the Jayna Hefford, you Caroline Ouellet on TV, and like, I want to be there one day. And then you get to meet them. You get to meet your idol, you get to play by their side. And you know they're unbelievable hockey players. But they take that helmet off, and damn, they're even better. And I think that shows a lot. It just reminded me why I'm doing this. Yes, I love the sport. Yes, I love pushing. Yes, I love that extra rep. But I'm no better than anybody. is when I get off that ice, when the game is over, there's fans there, there's little girls, little boys, taking the time to connect with them. Yes, sometimes I'm tired. Yes, sometimes it's tiring. You don't want to do it, but just maybe put things in perspective, and taking that time, to me, reminds me why I'm doing it. When I see those little girls that they want to have autograph from Natalie, from Laura, and they're just excited about it, it's like, wow, okay, that's why we're doing it. That's why we're pushing. That's why we're here. That's why we're here talking about sport, about pushing the women's sport all together. And that passion, the having fun, surrounding yourself with great people, I think it goes a long way, and I think that's still, I'm who I am today. I still love it, love what I'm doing, because I know the day I'm going to walk into a rink and I'm not going to have fun, that's when I'm going to be retiring. So I'm still enjoying it.
So that kind of leads into this next question I want to talk about. And Pooh, I know you were there for the ESPYs when Dawn Staley did her acceptance speech for the Jimmy V Perseverance Award. And if anyone didn't see it, you should go watch it. Because for me, it helped me reflect on a few things. And really what she said was, for any athlete that makes it to the highest level, a lot of things have to go right. The stars have to align, whether that's, you're healthy, you don't get injured, you have the right coaches, you have the right support system. There's a lot of things that need to be right. So being grateful for that, but also understanding that there's this extraordinary responsibility to being in that position. And she called it a blessing, but wanted to ask this panel sort of like, what is your purpose to doing this? What's the real purpose that drives you every day? And we'll start with you, Claire, and we'll go down the line.
It's pretty simple for me. The women's game isn't at the Paralympic Games right now, so my passion for the game outside of being an athlete is making sure that one day I can be at the Paralympic Games playing the best sport on the planet, but also my teammates and the next generation can fight for a gold medal.
Very nice, thanks for that. I think for me, when I think of purpose now, being in the sport for as long as I have done, and with all the moments we have where you think, am I going to leave it? Is there anything else out there for me? I'm very, very proud that football is all consuming for me. I'm very, very proud that the best version of myself seems to be useful for others in sport, meaning that it's not about me, it's about service. And I think that's why coaching resonates on a deep, deep level. I enjoy mastery as well. My purpose is also mastering things, and as a player I did my absolute best. Whether that was achieved or not is another discussion. However, as a coach I'm in that realm as well now. I just want to be around a group of people who are excited to be alive, excited to be exploring their margins, because I think that's what we all are as high performers, and we kind of strive for the 1%. Or marginal gains in the best way we can. So that's exciting to me. I can't think of another world in which I would do this, although there are other industries, and every other industry could be that way, but soccer is it for me. So I'm in love with it, and I think I'm just happy to be and grateful to be in it.
Yeah, I touched a little bit, obviously, passion. I love what I'm doing, but along those lines, I'm lucky enough to have a hockey camp, and to me it's to give back as well. Giving my passion, feeding the kids and being there around them to show what it's all about, what women's hockey is all about now, what you can become, knowing that you belong and knowing that they can do it. If they put their mind and their heart into it, anything is possible. So obviously for me, that passion, giving back, for me having a hockey camp, being able to be surrounded by little girls, little boys as well, just knowing that it's possible, to me, my purpose every day, and for the love of it as well.
Obviously, I have a similar purpose as well. I think we all have a serious passion for something up here. Obviously, ours is sport, but so many other people have a passion for something. And luckily enough, I grew up in a family where both me and my sister were fortunate enough to be put into sport at an early age. Our parents could afford it, so we were able to try everything. Whether we liked it or not, whether it stuck or not. Obviously, hockey was that for me, and I've never looked back since. And it's also made me the person and the player I am. I fell in love with the game, but I also, it shaped me as a human being and as a person first. And I think now my purpose, after having chased all my dreams and continue to chase those dreams and my passion, if I can give one other kid that same opportunity that I had when I was a kid, of getting involved in sport, getting a chance to play a sport, so that they can also find their passion, they can also fall in love with it. I think that's a huge success to me now in life. So I do run a charity road hockey tournament, and it's all in support of that, is how can we get more kids off the sidelines? How can we get more kids involved in sport? Because all of us have been so fortunate to not only find a career in sport, but also become the people we are through sport. So like I said, if one kid gets that same opportunity that me and my sister did when we were growing up, I think that's a huge success.
I would say something super similar. I mean, I think purpose, when I think of my purpose, you know, these past few years, I think we all would say we want to leave the jersey in a better place than where we entered it. And I think creating something that's so much bigger than ourselves with the PWHL, we know that next generation of girls are going to have something to dream about. And I think for me, I grew up in Scarborough. I had 3 older brothers. And I went to school with a lot of people that couldn't play hockey. They loved the game too, but they didn't get the opportunity to. So I think for me, you know, supporting organizations like Grindstone or Jumpstart, Fast and Female, who can expose kids, young girls to sports. I think you could say we all had such positive experiences and got to have so many opportunities through sport that I'd want every other girl to be able to experience that, to build the confidence, learn teamwork. There's so many, you know, things that they'll be able to bring over into the workforce. So yeah, I just hope that you know, the work that we're able to do off the ice is also reflective of the people we are, and we're able to impact a lot of little girls who, you know, either follow our footsteps or are change makers and eventually sitting in your chairs or ours down the road.
So everyone in the room here today is here because they want to build towards a more equitable future. So I'm going to leave one last question here for everyone to answer, which is, who is your greatest champion of equity and why? So maybe we'll go the other way. Start with you, Natalie.
Okay. This is a tough one. I feel like I've had a lot of champions of equity throughout my career, but I'd probably say recently, the past year, it's probably just been my mom. I really would not have been able to continue being a high-performance athlete, so she's really been able to support me and believe in me and believe that I could be a hockey player and a mom at the same time. So I'm going to go with my mom.
I'm going to go with my sister. I brought her up a little bit earlier, but I think she would be my champion, and she has ever since I was born. She's 3 years older than me, so as soon as I came into the world, I had somebody to look up to. I had somebody that inspired me. I had somebody that I could follow in their footsteps of, and obviously we've had our moments like sisters do, but at the end of the day, she was that role model to me. She played every sport, so I wanted to play every sport. She did well in school, so I tried my best to keep up. And she also kind of was able to balance all aspects of her life, whether it was academics, athletics, and just that regular social life. And for me, that was really important. Being a female hockey player there is life after sport as well, and what is that? And she's really opened my eyes up to those different life experiences. Obviously, she had 3 years to kind of lead me off and set me on the right path. And so I learned a lot from her. She's definitely my champion and always will be. And she's kind of opened up my eyes to what's next, what the future holds, and she's been there every single step of the way.
I think I have a lot in my life, to be honest. I would not be here without any of them, but one that pops out, it's Caroline Ouellette. I've been pretty fortunate to get to know her throughout the last years, and actually, I mentioned I watched her on TV. You see idols, you meet them, and they're better than you ever expected. And lucky enough, now I have a hockey camp with her, but just seeing how she just challenged everybody around her. She wants to make the world a better place in terms of hockey, in terms of our college players. She surround people, she's pushed people to be better every day, and to me, when I see that as a coach, and I get to be coached by her, we get to be coached by her, and she just wants to make you better, and she's gonna challenge you sometime. It's gonna be frustrated, but just every time that she does that, it's because she wants the best, and it's pretty amazing to see, and she's been my champion for a long time.
Amazing answers, ladies. I think what you all said is you can go a bunch of different directions. Like what first came to mind was my house league coach, Debbie, the ginger hair, because she was coaching a co-ed team, and she made us fall in love with the game. So there's something about that at a time where it was just, we were mixed, and here's a girl and a bunch of boys. And then you think of the people in this room, Eva Haveris, a huge part of making this thing happen. So big shout out to Eva and everything that she continues to do for women in this country. Natalie Cook, Leanne Nicole. I'd be remiss not to mention, Jayna Hefford, Diana Matheson. These women stand out to me. They're doing something, and not that others aren't or standing for things, and they're doing it in a big and a loud and a meaningful and a lasting way. And then I think of one of my best friends on earth is Megan Rapinoe, and I'm not saying that as a name drop. I'm saying that because I knew her before this all happened. Her life had changed when she took a knee. I think that was really when things changed in 2016. And I think watching her personal struggle through everything she's endured, the death threats, all the, just standing up for people and continuing to do so relentlessly, whether you love or hate the character that she is unapologetically standing up for so many people who don't have a voice. So Megan Rapinoe is also probably the one that stands out to me massively.
We all touched on that it's sometimes not just one person, it's a community of people that have influenced us and brought us to where we are. But my head coach on the women's para hockey team, I was transitioning from one sport to another and really trying to find a space where I could show up authentically as myself. And Tara has showed not only myself, but our entire team that if you show up authentically as yourself, you are worthy, you're valued, and the advocacy and pushing for the Paralympic movement and showing that not only that you can be a good athlete, but if you invest in your athletes outside of the sport as well and really invest in the person that they are, they're really going to go that much further as a human being. So
amazing. Well, I know everybody here has busy schedules. I want to thank all you guys for being here. Thank you for being champions of equity and for making Canadian sport better. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, nothing like following a bunch of world-class athletes, but here we are. Hope everybody had a nice lunch and you're enjoying the day. We were just commenting how we're just loving the energy in the room today and a lot of new faces in the room today, which is super exciting. So first of all, huge thank you from all of us to you. We asked you to step up and comment and participate, and boy, did you ever. We had a pretty big job. We had to go hide upstairs and go through, how many tables do we have here? Almost 60 tables worth of really valuable information and action. So unfortunately, we can't give you all of the feedback because, you'd miss all the other fun stuff this afternoon. But we're going to do a couple of highlights, I think. And maybe, Leanne, we saw a few themes kind of emerge.
We sure did, Natalie, and it was amazing to see how everybody participated at the tables. We are really excited to see the actions that you're willing to step forward and have us all take as a collective. So there were a couple themes, and the first theme that we would be remiss not to mention is, especially as it pertains to girls and women in sport, but also others, is that there is a history of safe sport failure in our country. So many documentaries, so many comments. You can't open the news or read Rick Westhead or listen to Rick Westhead without hearing about it. And so let's take the elephant out of the room and let's address the fact that sport hasn't always been safe for women, and we want to make it better for the next generation. So I'm going to put it over to Courtney for at table 51, who came up with a really, really good idea that I believe all sports can adopt. So Courtney.
I'm over here in the back, everybody.
There he is.
I'm at table 51. Do you want to stand up for a second?
Right there.
So why don't you tell the fine people of Unmatched what your name is and who you're here with?
My name's Madeline. I'm with Gulf Ontario.
Awesome. And so you all wrote down something about a purple flag. Could you tell me a little bit about what that is?
Yeah, so at Gulf Ontario, we have this, I I guess we'll call it a policy. It's a purple flag opportunity to call out something that, you want to raise to the person who said it that might have been, not appropriate at the time or have come off a little bit wrong. So, for example, today, when you say hello, guys, that's a purple flag in our office, and a way to address that without, calling out the person in a mean or rude way. You can just say purple flag. They can reflect on it. You can talk about it after, but it's a way to just call out those simple little things without, making a really big deal about it in the moment.
And so you've already put this in place and you find that it's successful. People take to it?
Yeah, it's interesting, when you're sitting in the office and sometimes there's not a lot of people there because we're in a hybrid environment. And the days where there's a lot of people there, you hear it and you say it to each other. Sometimes it's jokingly and you catch yourself and then you think about it and you understand why that purple flag was mentioned.
Awesome. Leanne, what do you think about the purple flag? It sounds like a pretty cool idea to me.
Well, I would just like everyone just to take a moment and put your feet on the ground and close your eyes. And I want you to think about a girl or a woman in your life who plays sport. And imagine a future for that young person to be able to say to her coach, purple flag. That's how this idea grows. And so if we can imagine it, we can make it happen with courage and bravery. We want the next generation to be purple flag all over the place if they have to, but have the safe environment to raise the purple flag. So I think that's a brilliant idea. Thank you, Ontario, Gulf Canada, for starting it. And let's take it back to our offices. Let's take it back to our workplaces. Let's take it back to the sports system and raise purple flags when it's appropriate to do so and have the courage to do it on one side, but create the environment where purple flags are welcome on the other side. So thank you for that brilliant idea. I love it.
Yeah, that's a great action. I love that purple is also the color of equity. So that was, I don't know if that was by design or accidental, but either way, well done.
Amazing. Another quick one, a better integration of the school, community, and sports systems to give access and exposure to other sports other than the top sports in the country or the most approachable sports. So we're going to go to table 22 to hear their thoughts on this integration and how we can make sport more accessible to young people.
Now, we didn't pick 22 because that's my favorite number. This is actually a great idea. So why don't you stand up? And can you tell everybody what your name is and who you're here with?
I'm Veronica, and I'm here with Labatt.
Awesome. And so you wrote down a bunch of great ideas, but specifically, tell me why you thought it was important to introduce youth to non-traditional sports.
So we were actually talking about the Olympics at our table, and we were like, whoa, Canada really dominated the hammer throw earlier this week, and we were like, how do you even get into that? And we were just thinking about, when you're a kid, you're not really thinking about like all of the different possibilities, but instead you're trying new things and picking up what you like. And we think just opening up children to that opportunity to try things like javelin, hammer throw, curling is a great way for them to, get excited about those sports and become passionate and eventually end up being at a very competitive level.
Awesome, thank you. And yeah, give a round of applause, sure. Yeah. Thanks. Now, there's a lot of sports that are on TV today because of the Olympics and whatnot, but getting the crossover from the sports organizations in the community and the schools, that's a big thing if we can get that to happen.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Courtney. That's great. I agree. That was another thematic that really kind of came through, which is just generally better integration, right? So between community, between school, between sport, I think the thematic here is that we would all be better if we worked a little more collaboratively together. That really came through. Next one for me that was a very strong piece on allyship. This is another big piece. You know, Eva talked about how sport called her. Well, women's sport is calling on men. We need you. We need the allyship. We need your support. We need your voice. We need your money. That was another big theme, by the way, investment. So we'll come back to that one later. But I think we're going to call on, is it 47? Table 47.
I'm coming to you live and direct from table 47, and I'm here with
Marijke Vandergrift, Canadian Women in Sport.
Love that. So you had a very good idea about a coalition, and tell me about this coalition, who's in it and what do they do?
So we need to call in others that, if you look around the room, we need more than just women working towards changing the game. We would like to call upon professional male athletes to create a fund using their own money to fuel women's sports. So more women playing equals more role models, and men supporting. It's a better all-around narrative for sport.
That sounds like a good idea. And also, women and men, both of them working together, I think we could do a lot more than just women by themselves or men by themselves. What do you think?
Exactly. Look at Denmark as the case study. The men's soccer team forwent some of their pay to create equal payment for their women's soccer team.
That's a case study from real life. And send it back to you, ladies, to comment.
Thanks, Courtney, and thanks again to the tables for their great participation. There's so many more ideas. Leanne will walk you through some of that. But just one thing I want us to keep in mind when we talk about how critically important fandom is and that pipeline of youth, we know that 8 out of 10 fans participated in sport. So if we don't have the participants, we don't have the fans, well, what do you think happens to the flywheel? So we're all very invested in that happening. Back to that collaboration and allyship piece again.
No one can do it alone, and other themes that came through. Of course, funding was a big one on almost every card. More money contributing to equity in sport. But beyond money, it takes a bigger lens and intersectionality, not just looking at equity through the lens of gender, but looking at through gender and race and gender and culture and gender and able-bodied, disabled body. Making sure that we're not just looking at gender in isolation and that we are seeing equity from a wider lens and ensuring that more young people who are on the margins get to play sport. And the last piece that was a very big theme was mentorship. And it's my personal favorite topic, only because I'm the CEO of Big Brothers Big Sisters. Shameless plug is that at Big Brothers Big Sisters Big Siblings, our young people who participate in sport participate because their big brothers, big sisters, or big siblings have introduced them to sport and movement. So if you have the opportunity, or people you know have the opportunity to play an active role in a child's life, to introduce them to new sports, introduce them to the hammer throw, why not? You could learn it yourself, right? So that opportunity for mentorship is a big one, because if kids can't get to the field of play and they can't afford to play there, they're not going to be able to be part of the sport system and the next generation that we'll see on the podium, on the court of play, on the field of play. So we all have a role to play. I hope you take it seriously enough to contribute not only to the conversation, but to contribute to the big actions that we've identified over the course of our time together. Thank you for participating. We weren't sure if all the cards would come back blank or not. The good news is they absolutely did not. We will be consolidating and making sure that all the information is put together in themes, and it will be sent out to you as part of the follow-up.